In our last update, we had just seen Bitcoin bounce off our support, but also reject our resistance area. But what I wanted to see next was simply a drop into our support level, 117.6, to see a reversal to the upside, take out this first high, and potentially make a new all-time high. And if you go over to the charts, this scenario did play out pretty well because we hit our support again, 117.6, we got the bounce, we took out this first high, but we failed to make a new all-time high. So personally, very quickly, what did I do as usual? It's pretty simple. I had just one support level. We jumped into it. We had the early imbalance, so I did open my long position. We had a good reaction and a good close. Again, I took my long because this was the scenario that I wanted to see. And then, as mentioned in the update, since this high was my first target, we moved above it. I implemented a take profit one on my long position, but unfortunately price did end up coming back down to my entry and stopped me out the rest of my long position. So then I simply came back on Sunday for a new plan, and what I wanted to see was a rise into this resistance to see a reversal to the downside, 113.3, and then a bounce higher. But as I had said, I was not interested in any short positions simply because I didn't have a lot of confidence on this level. And with that said, this has been a pretty slow week honestly because I was just waiting for something obvious to come, and until now I haven't seen anything super interesting. However, if we go over to the charts today, can I see something very nice on the charts, or again, are we still going to range in this pretty ugly price action? Well, the first thing that I want to say is that even though yesterday, as sent in the Discord, we had rejected this value area high for a nice job, what price ended up doing is simply, if you go over to Binance, on the 1 hour, we had an early imbalance right there. So we moved back up into it to the dollar and then got a rejection to the downside. So you can see that even in these ugly ranges, imbalances still dictate price action. Now, personally, honestly, I was actually eyeing a short position because even though we didn't have an imbalance on Bybit, we still had this nice 30-minute order block. So if you mark it out, we got the move into it and then the rejection to the downside. But the reason that I didn't open a short position is simply because we actually got a very strong daily close into this resistance. So to me, this wasn't the best reaction to open a short position, but in the end, I was wrong. And this still offered a very nice drop to the downside for a move of over 2%. So again, a pretty nice drop, a very easy trade in my opinion, except for the fact that we got an extremely strong daily close. But with all of this out of the way, what can you expect next? Well, the only next imbalance that I can see on the chart would be this one. So if you go on the 30 minutes, it would be down there, 117.4. And then if you go on the 4 hour, we do have a nice order block right there. So you could mark it out as an area, just take the body of the candle. But personally, I am happy with just one level, 117.4. And for one more confluence, if you take the volume profile of this range, we have the value area low lining up with this support level. So with that said, in my opinion, we can build two scenarios based off of this support. The first scenario will be that we do drop to the downside towards $113,000 as outlined on Sunday. And in this case, what could potentially happen is that we get a drop and we get just a small bounce off of the support level, and then we just continue lower to hit our support level, and then at this point we can see if we do indeed get that plan to play out and we get a very nice reversal to the downside. But this would be the first scenario. However, the second one is that even though I would like to see a break below this low, I have to admit a lot of people are waiting for it. So what we could get is simply a drop and then reversal to the upside to take out these highs. Simply because again, a lot of people are waiting to take out the low of this range. We could simply front run them, get a drop to this support and then reversal to the upside, take out this high. And at this point, of course, we can see, do you get maybe a larger range to play out and then come back down, or simply continue higher? But at this point, all I want to do is focus on this support levels, and we have two scenarios. So quick recap, the first scenario, if I just remove this and this, the first scenario would be that we get a small bounce and then we continue lower to indeed take out the lows of this range and then hit our support level, okay? And then of course I would look for a bounce higher. And I have to say that even in this scenario, if we do drop and we get a nice reaction on my support level, I will open a long position simply because we have the potential of front running the range lows and then getting a bounce to the upside to take out these highs. So with all of this in mind, that was mainly it for this update. As usual, I kept it very simple. So if you enjoyed it, don't forget to leave a like and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one.